key to finding out exactly what happened to Zebb may be in retracing his final steps on the night he disappeared. And we now know that he came here to this Citco at the corner of Hendersonville and Long Shoals Road because he came past these doors to use this phone to return a page that he'd received. We know that because Zebb was caught on tape.
Quinn was last seen in this Hendersonville Road convenience store at 9:14 at night with Jason Owens.
On January 2nd, 2000, 18-year-old Zebb Quinn finished his shift at Walmart in Asheville, North Carolina, and made plans to check out a car he wanted to buy. His co-worker, Robert Jason Owens, followed him in a separate vehicle. They stopped at a gas station around 9:15 p.m., where Zebb suddenly panicked. He seemed distressed, fidgeting before telling Owens he had to leave. He even rear-ended Owens' car before speeding away. That was the last time anyone saw him. 2 days later, Zebb's mother reported him missing. Then, something strange happened. On January 4th, someone called Walmart, pretending to be Zebb, and said he wouldn't be coming to work. The voice wasn't his. It was actually Robert Owens. When questioned, Owens claimed that a couple days after Zebb vanished, he was attacked by two men who left him with broken ribs, a head injury, and amnesia. Police never found proof of this. Then, things got even weirder.
And it turns out it was Jason Owens calling in saying that he was Zebb Quinn and that he was not going to be in to work. And I knew that was not Zebb's voice. And so as soon as he hung up, I hit star 69 on the phones to find out that it was traced to Volvo Construction Company where Jason Owens worked.
2 weeks after he vanished, Zebb's Mazda protege was found abandoned in the parking lot of the Little Pigs Barbecue restaurant in Asheville. Inside the car, police found a hotel key card from an unknown location, a live puppy that didn't belong to Zebb, several empty drink bottles, and a pair of lips drawn in lipstick on the rear windshield. Even stranger, none of Zebb's belongings were in the car.
Another strange twist in the case came 2 weeks after Quinn disappeared. His missing car turned up at Three Pigs Barbecue on McDowell Street.
The car, to this day, it's sort of impossible to figure out.
We may get some information from the car that, will be able to steer us in the right direction or give us some idea of what's going on.
Clues to the disappearance of Zebb Quinn are few, but strange. This drawing found on the back of the missing teen's abandoned car is something police say they can't say they've seen before.
On the back of the car, there was a set of lips that was drawn on the back window of the car. And on each side of the lips is that exclamation point. Now this could have been drawn with, a lipstick, crayon, magic marker, or paint. And we're not sure when the drawing was placed on the car.
Inside the car, investigators found this, a magnetic hotel key. So far, they haven't been able to trace where it came from or who used it last.
He had told friends he was being stalked before he disappeared. His aunt received a mysterious call from him shortly before he vanished. Owens was the last person to see him alive and later admitted to calling Walmart pretending to be Zebb. In 2015, Owens was arrested for the murder of a different couple, raising serious suspicions about his involvement in Zebb's case. Despite Owens' later murder conviction, he has never been charged with Zebb's disappearance. There has been no sign of Zebb Quinn since that night in 2000.
Zebb had a bit of a crush on a young woman that he went to school with, but she had a boyfriend. And there was a phone call not long before Zebb disappeared in which there seemed to be some sort of threat from the boyfriend.
New warrant focuses on a woman who detectives say Quinn had an affection for and whose boyfriend was abusive.
On Sunday, March 15, 2015, the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office received a request for a welfare check at 87 Hookers Gap Road in the Lester community.
In that garbage container, they found a handgun, ammunition, pillow covers and a bedspread, also jewelry items.
Just before 7 p.m. at their rural home, Buncombe County deputies sealed up their driveway with crime tape.
Information from that interview led detectives to prepare and execute several search warrants where they believe material to be human remains was recovered from the Owen residence at 8 Owen Cove Road in the Lester community.
This mobile home, located at 8 Owens Cove Road, is a part of a much bigger story.
It sure does raise a lot of questions, and I mean, it would not be truthful to say that it didn't, but we don't know what we have with that, and we continue to work through that and process that scene.
The Buncombe County Deputy Fire Marshal says this mobile home fire is suspicious.
That fire was located at the Owens residence. It was located on that curtilage. That was a building that was not his primary residence.
Gene got out first, went to the back of his truck. I got out of my truck and walked around back.
To the back of your truck?
To the back of Gene's truck. And then Zebb got out of the car and walked beside the passenger side on Gene's truck.
So Zebb comes around toward you guys there?
Yes.
And then what?
Well, when I asked Gene where Misty was at, he said she'd be there in a few minutes. And I guess Zebb was thinking too that she was down that trail, and he turned looking down the trail. And at that time, Gene reached in the back of the pickup truck, brought out a .22 rifle, and shot him in the back of the head.
Thank you so much for coming here and talking to me.
It's about my bedtime normal.
Well, we won't keep you any longer than we have to.
That would be good. I'll try to cooperate in any way I can.
What do you think happened to Zebb?
Zebb?
Yeah.
Honestly, don't know.
What kind of rifles did you have?
22s, primarily. Shotgun, 22s. I like no 22s, just little plunkers. I asked him, why would you so far away from the house? And he had, as I remember, he had no plastered concrete up, and then later he became a pile that he burned brush and so forth in, he just make it as a burn area. And then, of course, when all the things come across the news about the burning bodies, I thought about the burn pile.
That's a big connection to make, huh?
Huh?
Well,
it's all the years I hadn't thought nothing about it, And then TV's full of the burn. And then the mom's place burned down the second day or so. And the burn thing, it sort of focused back, at the burn pile. I mean, Jason loved to burn. I mean, he burned it, he was always burning something.
In the past, I've had a lot of anger and hatred towards you guys.
I know you have.
And I'm trying to change about that. I want to help you guys. I do. Honestly, this has destroyed my life. I've got to get it off my chest and get the truth out there and get some resolve for his family.
Gene Owens admitted that he knew Adam Wright, and Adam told Jason that he had been the one to introduce Wesley Smith to Gene. So he considered himself to be the sort of the intermediary. All we know is that Adam told Jason that he had introduced Wesley to Gene. And we know that Gene somehow knew that Zebb had a thing for Misty, who was Wesley's girlfriend at the time. And that Gene then went to Jason to get Jason to be the one to tell Zebb to come up to the woods that night.
My Uncle Gene had came up to the house that evening and asked me to go to Walmart. First he asked me if I knew Zebb. And I told him, yeah, that me and him had went fishing a couple of times. And then he told me about this girl, Misty, that Zebb was seeing, and said that she wanted him to meet her up there at that campground by Lake Powhatan. And so I went to Walmart that night, went straight to electronics and told Zebb. Zebb, this sounded legit to him. He told me about this girl, boyfriend beating up on her, everything. He was excited about it. Sounded, like I said, legit to him. So I didn't think nothing else about it. And I didn't know Uncle Gene was going to be up there. And then when I meet with him and we go up there, there's Uncle Gene. And where he had parked and everything, we got out of the vehicles and asked him where Misty was at. He said she'd be here in a minute. Well, there was a trail going down behind his truck, and I thought it went down to a campsite. So Zebb, he looked down the hill towards that trail, and that's when my uncle reached in the back of his pickup truck, got the .22, and just shot him in the head. And literally, he hit the ground. When his body collapsed to the ground, that's when I realized what happened. At first, it was, I couldn't believe it. It was like this can't be happening. Like, I thought we were meeting some little secret rendezvous, I thought I was helping. So when this happens, it went from something sweet to utter terror.
And you say his torso was in the fire and the legs were sticking out and it's already been burning for several hours. It just seems a little impossible to disintegrate or incinerate a body like that in that amount of hours with just a campfire.
I thought the same thing too. And this goes to the cause case. Something that I realized is our body fat is an accelerant. It burns hot.
When Zebb's Mazda showed up outside of Little Pig's barbecue, did you have anything to do with that? Did you know about it?
No, I don't know where that car was at. I had heard it was in the hospital parking lot. Other than that, I don't know where that car was at. I don't know why he put the car there.
Who did it?
Ended up there or anything.
Who did that, do you think?
It had to have been Gene.
Why?
I think it was, just like the lipstick on the car, I think that's his arrogant way of, his signature.
What would have been Gene's motivation to get involved with this?
Money.
What?
Money. Had to be money. Money, something valuable. He never told me, but he got something out of it. He wouldn't have done it if he did.
That night, was there any remorse from Gene?
No, he has no remorse for anything.
Are you remorseful for the actions that happened?
Oh, yeah. It's eaten me over the years. My silence has no reflection of what my heart really feels. Like, over the years, it's destroyed me. I didn't want to keep my silence. I didn't want to hurt Zebb's mom. Over the years, like I told you, I went back up there, I don't know how many, hundreds of times. I've went up there and just sat, just to talk to him. and, to beg his forgiveness and, asking God, please help me somehow or another figure a way that I can tell this. The whole time Gene was alive, I couldn't tell, because even if they arrested him, he had ways to get to me. He would hire somebody to kill me. And so I knew I seen him shoot Zebb for no reason. I knew he would me too.
Why not take that to the grave?
At that point, I felt that my life was over. Whatever happened was going to happen. I wanted it off of my chest. I didn't care what happened to me anymore. I didn't care if Gene killed me. I didn't care if he got somebody to kill me. It didn't matter anymore. But I couldn't go to my grave with it.
Do you think justice was ever served for this case, or will justice ever be served?
For Zebb, no, because they let my Uncle Gene die. They charged me 2 days after Gene died. They knew he did it. They let him get away with it. I shouldn't have kept my mouth shut for all those years, but I did at least come forward and tell them and give them the opportunity to at least to take a few years of his life away. But as far as justice, no.